What's going on here, guys? We back with another one, and we have to talk about the state of the Cleveland Browns. RG3 is going to go in on Kevin Stefanski because he immediately came out after that horrid performance from Dillon Gabriel saying that he's going to stick with him. He starts off by saying they got to take a look at everything, but then says he's going to stick with Dillon Gabriel. So everything but the quarterback position, which is one of the biggest question marks around the roster. Historic defensive season by Myles Garrett being overshadowed, broke the team records, single game, 5 sacks tonight. And he could be seen over there on the bench crashing out, not because he feels like he can do anything more, but just because the team isn't scoring the ball, not giving the defense a chance, to win games. So let's get into what Kevin Stefanski said, and then we're going to get into RG3's response.
Look at everything we're doing because the results have to be better, obviously. When I say look at everything, there's just when you lose like this, you have to look at everything, every position, everything I'm doing. There's just it's frustrating for where we are as a team. So every position you have to look at. But let me say that with a young quarterback, you understand that there's going to be ups and downs. Yes, it does. But I just want to make the point that we just have to be better. Are we doing enough with the quarterback position? Do we need to do a better job? And I know the answer is yes.
Oh, Cleveland Browns fans, let's go ahead and cut right to the chase. Kevin Stefanski is never going to give Shadur Sanders an opportunity. He's not. And I think I understand the assignment now. You look at this game, and Kevin Stefanski is almost like the captain on the ship of the Titanic. He's going down with the ship. His way, nobody else's way. Myles Garrett just set a franchise record with 5 sacks in a game, and they lost 32-13 because Kevin Stefanski is not what's doing in the best interest of the team. Now, why do I say that? Dillon Gabriel, I got nothing against the young man. I think he's a phenomenal college quarterback who has an opportunity to be a contributor in the NFL. But when your coach comes out and doesn't hold the starting quarterback accountable for not playing well, regardless of whether he is a young quarterback or not, doesn't watch the film and immediately comes out in the press conference and says, I'm going to stick with Dillon Gabriel after the bye week, knowing that Myles Garrett isn't throwing his helmet on the sideline because he was upset that he didn't get more sacks. Myles Garrett was upset that his 5 sacks didn't matter. That is a massive problem in the locker room. And when you look at a guy like Shadur Sanders, every chance Kevin Stefanski has gotten to put him down, to not put him in a position to be successful, he's done it. Kevin Stefanski owes it to the locker room to give Shadur Sanders an opportunity to compete, have a pathway to the field, no different than any other player. But what Kevin Stefanski is telling all of us straight to our faces is that Dillon Gabriel is his guy, and he will never start Shadur Sanders unless Dillon Gabriel can't play. He might even play Bailey Zappi before he played Shadur Sanders. He might go ask the Baltimore Ravens to trade back for Snoop Huntley before he plays Shadur Sanders. He might even go ask the Bengals to trade Joe Flacco back so he can be the starter before he plays Shadur Sanders. He might even go to the Raiders and get Kenny Pickett back before he plays Shadur Sanders. The only way this Cleveland Browns team gets better this season or into next year is if Kevin Stefanski is not there. The only way Shadur Sanders gets an opportunity in Cleveland to be the guy is if Kevin Stefanski gets fired.
And I wholeheartedly agree with everything that RG3 just said. I don't think he's going to get a fair shake as long as Kevin Stefanski's at the helm. He couldn't even give him props after he was thrust in there in their first preseason game. The way that he played has been the most positive QB minutes we've seen, for the franchise this season. Obviously Flacco, they won a game, I believe. Then they win one game with Flacco early where they played the Green Bay Packers. I think that was their best win this year. But, obviously he was traded and he wasn't playing well other than that game. So we can't really say that he did anything noteworthy being his age, right? He's not going to be the guy of the future. Dillon Gabriel already had a height thing going on, and I'm looking at somebody like Bryce Young saying he's having his issues, and he's way better than Dillon Gabriel. What makes me think Dillon Gabriel is going to come in and play well if Bryce Young, who's a better small quarterback, is having his issues for equally as bad franchise. Now Bryce Young and them is doing better now, but again, Bryce Young is a little better than him. But the Panthers did have their growing pains as well, and he was taken early. In the draft, he was taken the first pick, I believe. So um, you look at that, and you're like, a small QB has to be a special player. And Bryce Young, and Dillon Gabriel, while a good player, he's not a special player for someone that size. Uh, but you look at Shedeur, 6'1", a little bit taller, normal size QB. I like this for Shedeur if they can get Kevin Stefanski out of there and get a new coach in to finish this season because all he has to do is show flashes, show some positive plays. They played their hand with both Flacco, who's traded away, and now Dillon Gabriel, who he may be a decent backup someday, but putting him in as QB1 his first year in the league, he's not ready for that load. He's not ready for that. And sometimes you may do a guy a disservice by putting him out there too early, giving him the first team reps, not sharing those first team reps with Shadur Sanders. Both of your rookies should have got some first team reps because when they went with this youth movement, now they're the only two QBs on that roster. We were wondering during the offseason how this stuff would work its way out. Now that they're both on the roster, you didn't even give Shador the snaps to learn the tendencies of the guys on the first team, you know. And I think that was done by design because his whole plan was to always go with Dillon Gabriel if he had to choose between those two. Um, but he's strained the relationship so bad now that even if he were to put Shador out there, Shador balled out, became the franchise guy, he wouldn't want him as his coach, going forward. And I couldn't much blame him for that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.